It was a dark, stormy night, and 19-year-old Emma was driving home alone. The rain lashed against her car windows, and the howling wind added to the eerie atmosphere. As she drove along the deserted highway, Emma couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that gnawed at her. Suddenly, her headlights illuminated something on the side of the road. It was a child, standing alone in the pouring rain, waving frantically for help. Emma's heart twisted with compassion, and she immediately pulled over to the side of the road. Stepping out of her car, Emma hurried towards the child, her umbrella shielding her from the rain. But as she drew closer, a chill ran down her spine. The child's face was pale and ghostly, and his eyes held a vacant stare. Emma stopped in her tracks, a feeling of dread creeping over her. "Are you okay?" Emma asked tentatively, her voice trembling with fear. The child didn't respond. Instead, he reached out his hand towards Emma, his fingers icy cold to the touch. Emma recoiled in horror, realizing that something was terribly wrong. Before she could react, the child spoke in a hollow voice. "Help me," he whispered, his words sending shivers down Emma's spine. Emma's heart raced as she stumbled backwards, her mind reeling with fear and confusion. How could a child be out here alone in the middle of the night? And why did he look so lifeless? Desperate to escape the eerie encounter, Emma turned to run back to her car. But as she reached for the door handle, a bone-chilling realization struck her. The child was nowhere to be seen. He had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the sound of the howling wind. Shaken to the core, Emma quickly climbed back into her car and slammed the door shut. Her hands trembled as she fumbled for the ignition, her heart pounding in her chest. She needed to get out of here, away from whatever malevolent force had just crossed her path. With trembling hands, Emma started the engine and peeled out onto the highway. The image of the ghostly child burned into her mind. She drove faster and faster, desperate to put as much distance between herself and the haunting encounter as possible. But no matter how fast she drove, Emma couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the air. It was as if the ghostly presence of the child was still with her, haunting her every move. As she drove on through the night, Emma couldn't help but wonder what had happened to the child. Was he a lost soul, doomed to wander the highway for all eternity? Or was there something more sinister at play? Lost in her thoughts, Emma failed to notice the figure that appeared in her rearview mirror. It was the ghostly child, his pale face pressed against the glass, his empty eyes staring into her soul. With a scream of terror, Emma swerved off the road, her car careening out of control. And as the vehicle tumbled into the darkness, Emma realized with horror that she was trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. But just as Emma braced herself for impact, the car came to an abrupt stop. Confused and disoriented, Emma looked around to find herself back on the highway, her car unharmed. It was as if the accident had never happened. Shaken and bewildered, Emma tried to make sense of what had just occurred. Had it all been a hallucination brought on by exhaustion and fear? Or had she truly encountered something supernatural on the highway? As Emma sat in her car, grappling with the terrifying possibility of the latter, she heard a voice whispering in her ear. It was the voice of the ghostly child, taunting her with promises of eternal torment. With a sinking feeling in her heart, Emma realized that she was not alone. The ghostly child had latched onto her, trapping her in his haunting grip for all eternity. And as the storm raged on outside, Emma knew that she would never escape the horrors of the highway. She was doomed to wander its dark and lonely roads, forever haunted by the ghost of a child who had lost his way.